The map is not the territory. The map is not the territory. This is a part of my belief system that it's deep now. And I got it. It was installed by a good friend of mine that I met in India the first time I was there. And we were in Varanasi, India together and having really psychedelic times. And I don't just mean there were a few psychedelics around, like actual chemicals, but it was just, we were so out of normal life, normal reality, because we were in India and we were like flat broke. And so that just changes things, that it was very psychedelic. And India, generally speaking, is a psychedelic place. So the map is not the territory. He's the one who installed it into my head there. And what does that mean? It comes from Alfred Korzybski, and he is a general semantist. So he's all about language and meaning, right? And so the map is not the territory. What does that mean? That means that if you have a map of your home city, that it's not the actual territory. That it's it's useful tool, but it's not the actual thing itself. And that means that there are elements that are not on the map that are in the territory. And you better know that. Because if you start navigating the territory as if it was actually the map, you're going to run into a car that's not on the map, but is in the territory. Or you're going to, hit a tree that's not on the map, but is on the territory. So in order for a map to be the territory itself, it would have to have every street, every house on every street, every dog, every cat, every person, every tree. It would have to have every single thing that is on the map, that is in the territory, on the map, for it to be an actual one-to-one representation. But that's ridiculous. That would never happen. It would never be useful. The map would no longer be useful at that point. So, why is this important? This is important because you do not have access to the territory. You do not have access to the real world. You do not have access to the objective world. Everything that you experience comes through your sensory apparatus, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and your skin. All of it comes in through your senses, and it's raw data, right? There's a lot of data out there. There's a lot of light. There's a lot of sound. And then your sensory organs, they only have a certain amount of capacity of information they can take in at one moment. So there's already right there from the get-go, from the sensory part, there's a limitation. It means you can't get everything. Okay. And then it goes into your brain, and in your brain filters it to different parts of your cortex, and then there it processes it. But the processing part is also a filtration part. It's an interpretation part. So it's a making of a map, essentially. It's a making of a map. So everything you see, watching me on this video right now, you're not watching the actual thing. You're watching your perception of the actual thing. And it will never be the actual thing. Now, it might be really close to the actual thing. It might be really close to the actual thing, but it won't be the real thing, the actual thing. So what does that matter? Well, you've got a map in your head of the world. You have a map in your head of your wife, of your kids, of everybody you know in your life. You have a map of them in your head. And the problem is that you often mistake your map for the actual thing. You mistake your map, your idea of your wife in your head, for your actual wife. And sometimes the map is accurate. Sometimes the map works well. But sometimes it doesn't. And if you keep acting like the map is the territory, then you're going to miss opportunities for change. You're going to miss opportunities to be surprised, to embrace the unexpected, because you're playing as if you know everything is going to happen already. So the map is not the territory. The takeaway in this video is that you want to understand that you are one step removed from everything that you experience. I am as well. Everybody is. That's the nature of the human sensory apparatus. You are always one step away from the actual thing itself. And because of that, there is always an error. There is always an error. It's never actually, in your head, it's never exactly like it is on the outside. And that just means that you want to be on the lookout for how your map is not correct. And then update your map. Because your maps will get more and more and more and more accurate. They will never be the actual thing, but they can get better. And that means a more accurate representation of reality, of your wife, of your kids. So, the map is not the territory.